case discussion about the management of chronic renal failure, or we can say chronic kidney disease and hypertension. Today we will discuss about the related cases with their explanations. Let us move towards the first case. Before going to the first case, I wish to just discuss about the chronic kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease is a progressive, irreversible kidney damage characterized by decreased estimated glomerular filtration rate. We can say EGFR, or evidence of kidney damage for at least 3 months. The classification about the chronic kidney disease according to the range of GFR categories. If the GFR is more than 90 ml per minute per 1.73 meters square, it is termed as G1, or we can say normal or increased. If the GFR category or GFR range is between 60 to 89 ml per minute per 1.73 meter square, it's considered as G2, mild decreased. GFR categories, G3 is categorized into 3A and 3B. We can say G3A, G3B, and amongst these two categories, G3A, which is mild to moderately decreased, if the range is between 45 to 59, and if the category is G3B, moderately to severely decreased, and GFR range is 30 to 44 ml per minute, and if it is G4, it is considered as severely decreased, and the GFR range is between 15 to 29 ml per minute. And the last one is G5, which is considered as kidney failure, and the GFR range is less than 15 ml per minute. Case 1, a 55-year-old man patient with chronic kidney disease secondary to chronic interstitial nephritis, inflammation of the kidney, is complaining of chronic fatigue, lethargy, and breathlessness on exertion, palpitations, and poor concentration. His recent hematological results were found to be hemoglobin was 8.7 gram per dl, and the reference range is mentioned here. Red cell count was 2.92. hematocrit 0.30 and serum ferritin 88. If we compare this is laboratory result with the reference range and found abnormal, we can say abnormally decreased. Hemoglobin is 8.7 gram per dl. Red cell count 2.92 decreased. Hemoglobin decreased. Hematocrit 0.30 decreased, and serum ferritin it is 88. 88. To answer the questions of this case, we need to know the treatment for the anemia in these situations. Hemoglobin is decreased, red cells count is decreased, hematocrit is decreased. So we need to know the management of anemia to answer this case. We can say management of anemia in the chronic kidney disease patient. And after this, we are able to answer these three questions. The question is, first one is, can chronic kidney disease contributes to the patient condition justify? What is the target hemoglobin for this patient? In our case, the hemoglobin is 8.7. Mention the optimal treatment for this patient and how can we treat this abnormal laboratory diagnosis. Let us first explain the management of the anemia in the patient of the chronic kidney disease. Treatment of anemia. Why anemia in the chronic kidney disease patient? What are the causes of anemia of the chronic kidney disease patient? The first reason is uremic toxicity. The first one is uremic toxins. In chronic kidney disease patient, due to uremic toxins, and these uremic toxins are responsible for the decrease EPO, erythropoietin production. Decrease in the erythropoietin production is one of the reason, and we know that erythropoietin is the most important hormone responsible for the production of the red cells. Decrease the response of bone marrow to the erythropoietin, decrease the synthesis of hemoglobin, and as a result, there is a decreased RBC's lifespan from 120 to 60 days. So instead of 4 months, the lifespan is near about half, 60 days, 2 months. These all decrease results in the anemia in the patient of the chronic kidney disease. Other deficiencies which can contribute to anemia in this patient: folic acid deficiency. Why folic acid deficiency? This deficiency occurs in patients on dialysis, because the folic acid is removed by the dialysis, and therefore we need to recommend 1 milligram folic acid daily prophylactic dose in patient with the chronic kidney disease, and deficiency of folic acid may leads to the chronic kidney disease patient. Deficiency of folic acid may leads to the anemia in chronic kidney disease patient. There is also deficiency of the pyridoxine vitamin B6 due to dialysis, and this pyridoxine vitamin B6 deficiencies also occur in the non-dialysis patient. And if there is a deficiency of the pyridoxine vitamin B6, may leads to the skin hyperpigmentations and the peripheral neuropathy. And third reason, the anemia in the chronic kidney disease patient may be due to decrease in the absorption from the GIT due to increase in the gastric pH. If the gastric pH is increased, the iron absorption will be decreased and may leads to anemia. So these are the causes for the anemia in chronic kidney disease patients. What is the treatment for anemia? Guidelines recommend target hemoglobin of 11 to 12 gram per dl in patient with the chronic kidney disease. The target hemoglobin should be 11 to 12 gram per dl. But in our case, the hemoglobin is very less than 11. So our target should be the hemoglobin of 11 to 12 gram per dl. Severe. Now, how can we manage this case as the question? Severe anemia is treated by packed red blood cells transfusions. So we can use ready-made RBCs transfusions if the anemia is the severe, and because the drug therapy needs some time to maintain the normal RBC level. So in severe anemia, we need ready-made packed red blood cell transfusion. Which are the drug therapies are available? If the anemia is not severe, then drug therapy include iron therapy plus folic acid and plus erythropoiesis stimulating agents, we can call ESA, erythropoiesis stimulating agents, which stimulates the erythropoiesis and which is most important for the formation of the red blood cells. Examples of the erythropoiesis stimulating agents are epoetin alpha, darbepoetin, and the sera. We'll discuss what is these three drugs. Erythropoietin stimulating agents are indicated for patients with chronic kidney disease only when the hemoglobin is below 10 gram per dl, and in our case the hemoglobin is less than 10, so we will use erythropoietin stimulating agents. And dosing of these agents to target hemoglobin level greater than 100 gram per dl for chronic kidney disease patients should be avoided. Why? Risk of severe cardiovascular reaction, stroke, and death. So if we are using erythropoiesis stimulating agents and is our target is more than 11, should be avoided. Erythropoiesis stimulating agents should be avoided because they may cause cardiovascular reaction, stroke, and death. Instead of these erythropoiesis stimulating agents, we can use other medications or other lines of the treatment. So it means that if the we are targeting the hemoglobin level greater than 100 gram per dl, there may be chances of the adverse effect to cardiovascular system. That's why target should be below 11. Erythropoietin, examples of these erythropoiesis stimulating agents, the epoetin alpha. Epoetin alpha, which is a recombinant erythropoietin and stimulates the production of RBCs and hemoglobin. It also accelerates the release of reticulocytes from the bone marrow, and all these actions of the production of the RBC, hemoglobin, and reticulocytes stimulates the, we can say, significantly useful in the management of anemia in chronic kidney disease patient. The dose is 50 to 100 units per kg intravenous or subcutaneous 3 times a week. 3 times a week. And the effect of epoetin alpha are dependent on ready supply of iron and hemoglobin synthesis. So epoetin alpha, it is generally given by the intravenous subcutaneous route 3 times a week, and it will benefit for the production of RBC, hemoglobin, and reticulocytes. And we can say useful in the management of the anemia. Darbepoetin, which is also erythropoietin stimulating agents, it is an epoetin alpha analog. And what is the advantage over epoetin alpha? It's prolonged T half, the 50% of time required to eliminate, or we can say the time required, not 50%, the time required to eliminate 50% drug from the body, we can say T half, and it is prolonged. So that's why administer once weekly or bi-weekly. So what is the advantage of darbepoetin? over the epoetin alpha. Epoetin alpha, we need 3 times a week dose, while darbepoetin once weekly or bi-weekly. So that's why we can say prolonged T half of the darbepoetin as compared to epoetin. So dosing frequency will be reduced. And the SERA, third one, which is continuous erythropoietin receptor activator. Continuous erythropoietin receptor activator, and it is long acting erythropoietin stimulating agents. SERA is a twice the molecular weight of erythropoietin and has longer elimination half-life compared to erythropoietin. How much? It has the half-life near about 130 hours as compared to maximum 28 hours. So what is the benefit of this extended half-life? Extended interval dosing of bi-weekly and once monthly possible. So these are the advantage of the SERA, we can say continuous erythropoietin receptor activator, which is having extended elimination half-life, and that's why the only once monthly dose is possible. Next one is peg inicetide or hematite. It is dosed intravenous or subcutaneous once monthly, but it is withdrawn from the manufacturer due to adverse reaction. And adverse effect of erythropoietin stimulating agents are hypertension and thrombosis of the hemodialysis, vascular access site, and other thromboembolic events. To manage the anemia, intravenous iron products are available, and these intravenous iron products are significant for the iron stores if the serum ferritin is less than 100 microgram per ml. And in our case, the serum ferritin is 80 microgram per liter. So these intravenous iron products are useful if the serum ferritin is less than 100 microgram per liter. And generally, intravenous iron is preferred to the oral supplementation in the chronic kidney disease. Why? Due to low oral bioavailability of iron and gastrointestinal intolerance. Iron dextrans are also used. Iron dextran is commonly used, but it is associated with the hypotension and the anaphylaxis. Hypotension and anaphylaxis. Therefore, newer iron products are available in the form of iron sucrose and sodium ferric gluconate are better tolerated and can be infused more rapidly compared to iron dextran. So intravenous iron product contain iron sucrose and sodium ferric gluconate, and these are significantly useful if the serum ferritin is less than 100 microgram per liter. So this is the management of anemia in chronic kidney disease. Let us answer our case. Can chronic kidney disease contributes to the patient condition? Justify. Because the laboratory investigations, we can say laboratory investigations revealed hemoglobin is decreased, red cell decreased, hematocrit decreased. Now, why patients having the symptoms is complaining of the chronic fatigue, lethargy, and breathlessness on exertion, palpitation, and poor concentration, and these are the symptoms of the anemia. So we can say yes, the chronic kidney disease contributes the patient manifestations. What is the target hemoglobin for this patient? Now just we discussed the target hemoglobin should be 11, and here the hemoglobin is 8.7. So we can say the target hemoglobin for this patient is 11 gram per dl, and mention the optimal treatment for this patient. The optimal treatment includes, as we discussed, we can use folic acid, we can use vitamin B6 plus erythropoietin stimulating agents to target the hemoglobin 11 gram per dl. Epoetin alpha, we can use epoetin alpha having the 3 dose per week, and we have sera, we can give in the 1 dose per month due to extended half life, and we can use intravenous iron therapy, iron sucrose, and sodium ferric gluconate. So these are the answers for the case 1. Let us move towards the case 2.